Hello, welcome to Store Stories. Every Friday I would like to release a video talking about the weird stuff I've had to deal with working at a grocery store. And before I get started, I want to point out I like to consider myself politically centrist. A lot of these statements might be anti-Democrat or might be considered anti-Republican. A lot of people I deal with it's South Central Kansas, so a lot of people are Republicans, and a lot of stuff, kind of dumb things people say would be positive towards Republicans. So I'm not saying people who like Republicans are stupid. There are a lot of people online that say that, but there's a lot of people online saying that Democrats are stupid. So let's acknowledge that a lot of people hyper on their political alignment are going to say stupid stuff about the other political alignment. Can we agree with that? So I'm not saying I'm really not saying down with the GOP or down with the Dems, but I'm just saying that this is some stupid stuff that people have said. I don't know why I bother with the disclaimer, but well, let's go ahead and get into the video. Over the last year or two, people have been really taken aback by all of the inflation. I don't know why I did quotes on inflation. Inflation is going up. Of course, if I said I understood 1 ounce of anything about inflation, I would be lying. That means I guess that means that prices are going up on stuff. I could go on a pretty long tangent on how it's interesting how all of the inflation prices are going up, but the companies are getting record profits. Who knows, maybe the stuff is going up in price, but they could probably rebalance their profit margins, still doing pretty good and help people out a bit. But hey, record profits, right? Tangent. And of course, every complaint people have about the inflation is directed at President Biden, as if every single problem in the world is the result of one individual person. Of course, nothing in the world is ever the result of the previous president. President Trump, the previous president, he was only the president, so it's not like he was the direct control of every single thing in the world. If it goes wrong when President Trump was in office, it's not his fault. He was only the president. It's not like he's the commander of the world. But now that President Biden is in office, he is responsible for everything because, he's the president. The buck stops with Democrats. He's the president, for goodness sakes. I like I said before, I am not a big fan of politics. You're welcome to your own opinions on stuff, but I'm really, really kind of getting tired of everybody blaming one side instead of the other, because this side is one they're on, so everything in the world is directly the result of the other party. It's not like it flips back and forth on the Democrats or Republicans who's getting the blame for everything. Then no one's ever fixed anything. It's just blaming the other side. I've had a lot of people around here, again, South Central Kansas, so they're Republicans, so they're going to start their own gardens so they can get rid of President Biden's inflation. They're not going to get inflation. They're going to start their own gardens so they don't have to pay for this inflated food prices. Everybody who has suggested that they're going to start their own garden I'm going to start my own garden, and then they're looking at me like I'm going to try to contradict them. Everybody who's offered this argument seems kind of surprised when I agree with them, and starting your own garden to grow your own vegetables does really seem like a good idea. I'm hearing a lot of stuff online about the carnivore diet, and seeing a lot of headlines about how all the rainwater is contaminated beyond all hope. But I really can't help to think that if a lot more people grew their own food at home, a lot of people would be a lot better off. If you grew your own vegetables and grew your own food at home, you'd probably be a lot healthier than picking up, ho-hos and ding-dongs at the grocery store. Picking up a box of cereal is probably got to not be as healthy as growing the whatever amount of wheat to make your own cereal is going to be. So you're probably burning a hell of a lot more calories out in the field growing wheat than it is just to going down to the grocery store to pick up a box of Wheaties. Of course, I'm not saying you should grow your own wheat in your backyard, but if you're going to grow like whatever grows in a garden, a veggie garden, it's probably a lot better for you than driving to the store and grabbing it off the shelf. But that's just first blush impressions. There's a heck of a lot less instant gratification from growing your vegetables at home as opposed to just driving to the store. And there's going to be quite a bit of work involved in growing your own vegetables. But I couldn't imagine the amount of satisfaction out of just going when it does eventually get growing. You go out to your backyard and pick up a zucchini. That's got to be a hell of a lot more satisfying than just driving to the store and picking one up off the shelf. And it kind of reminds me of the idea of victory garden. The victory gardens people used to grow back in the World Wars. You know what? Back when people couldn't rely on importing food from across the ocean. So government heavily encouraged people to grow their own gardens, so they didn't have to worry about importings and worry about. I forgot the term for what it's called when you don't have enough, so you have to restrict how many items people can buy. I mean, we did it back in 2020 when we ran out of toilet paper, so you only buy a certain amount of that toilet paper. So, but it used to be that, if I understand right, you couldn't buy as much sugar as you wanted. You don't want to buy sugar anyway, but you know what I mean. You can't buy the sugar and flour because it was used for the war effort, so they had restricted sales. I really wish I could remember what that's called. It starts with an I think. But anyway, people started growing victory gardens so they wouldn't have to worry about not having enough food from the store. And also that idea kind of reminds me of the Victory Garden TV show they used to have on PBS. I really wasn't interested in that show because it wasn't a cartoon and it was on Saturday TV. So I was trying to watch my cartoons while Mom was watching gardening shows. But now that I'm older, it would be kind of nice to have a garden where you can grow your own veggies. But I also recognize it would be a lot of work to grow your own garden to sustain yourself on. And along with the inflation, there was a big breakout of avian flu that killed off a lot of chickens. And from what I understand, the government's response to the avian flu is to kill even more chickens. I'm not sure why they killed chickens when the flu was killing chickens, because the chickens were going to die of the flu, so they killed the chickens. I'm not a chicken farmer, so I can't say how that works. But since they didn't have the chickens laying the eggs, the price of eggs went up. But, of course, since it was the government doing it, it was the direct result of President Biden going out, slaughtering the cocks. He was smacking those cocks. Smacking the cocks. Whacking the cocks. And the price of eggs didn't stay up for that long. In fact, they're going back down again. But that doesn't stop people from complaining about the price of the eggs. I'm pretty convinced that a good number of politically aligned people will complain that the price of eggs are still up until a Republican takes credit for making the prices go down. But a good number of people have said something about buying chickens to make their own eggs. And again, this seems like a long-term solution for a short-term problem. But on the other hand, getting your own chickens to get your own eggs really does seem like a good idea. If you have the area for chickens and you have the area for gardening, that seems like a really good thing to do. So people talk about how they're going to get their chickens and get their own eggs, and they're going to get their own gardens, and they get their own vegetables, and it's like, go for it. It's a lot of work involved, but hey, that's good work to get done. You're not going to have as much satisfaction as running to the store. And I don't know if I'm making a store story video that makes the store look good, but hey, it's not I don't know if it makes the store look good or look bad, because you get instant gratification for going to the store to get your groceries. But again, if you're growing your own vegetables, that seems like a good thing also. And there are some people think I'm being impertinent, but I'm just agreeing with them that growing your own chickens is a good growing your own chickens. But growing your own chickens and vegetables is a good thing. The type of house I live in, it's like a row house, so there's like 4 different apartments in this house. I don't really have room to start a garden, a subsistence garden. And the fact that I can't really keep a peace lily alive more than a couple weeks, I probably will never be able to grow my own food. But it really does seem like a good thing to do. But the people have been getting all political, saying they're going to go out their own garden because the president wants them to pay extra money for the food. It's like, I don't get. Well, first of all, I don't get that argument. But I do agree that growing your own food is a good thing. I don't know how to outro this video. uh, but yeah, it's a even if you're a heavy Democrat, go ahead and grow your own food. If you love President Biden, that's your own issue. But growing your own veggie garden is not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's a good thing. I don't know. If you do comment on this video, to remember to stay civil with other political alignments. I'm not saying that Republicans are stupid because they want to grow their own garden. I'm not saying Democrats are stupid because they somehow caused inflation. So, but it's just, I'm going to do this because, well, that okay, go ahead and do that. That sounds like a good thing, but there's going to be a lot of work in that solution. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to see how long I edit this out. But every Friday I would like to release a video talking about the weird stuff I've had to deal with at the grocery store. And I just don't think people understand how much work they would have to do to get to grow their own gardens to make their own food. But I still think that's a really good idea. I wonder how many times I said that in that's making a nearly 20-minute video to say a sentence that's only one sentence long. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Check out blog links and Patreon links below. And goodbye.